The sun sank behind the ancient mountains, painting the sky in shades of fire and gold. A silent wind swept across the valleys of the forgotten Eden, carrying whispers of a world that had once known perfection. Humanity had grown, and so had its darkness. The hearts of men burned with pride, greed, and violence. The songs of worship had faded, replaced by the echoes of war and despair. But amid the corruption of the earth, there was one man who was different. His name was Enoch, son of Jared, descendant of Seth. He was not a king, nor a warrior, nor a prophet of fame. Yet he possessed something the world had lost, a heart that truly longed for God. Each morning before the world awoke, Enoch would walk into the mist-covered fields, speaking softly to the invisible presence that followed him. To others it seemed madness, but to Enoch it was friendship. And so began a journey that would make heaven take notice, a journey that would erase the line between mortal and divine. The days of the world grew darker. Cities rose like monuments of pride, their stones echoing the arrogance of men who had forgotten their Creator. The night skies were filled with the cries of violence, and the earth groaned under the weight of sin. Yet somewhere beyond the noise, in a valley untouched by the chaos, Enoch walked. Each step he took was guided by a peace that defied reason. When others sought gold and glory, Enoch sought only the voice, that gentle whisper that spoke not to his ears, but to his soul. Enoch, it would say, carried on the wind, "Walk with me." And he did. Through storm and silence, through joy and sorrow, Enoch walked with God. Day after day, year after year, until the world itself seemed to fade whenever he entered into that divine communion. People began to speak of him with awe. They said the light followed him wherever he went, that even wild beasts bowed their heads in his presence. But Enoch never claimed power. He claimed relationship. One night, as thunder rolled across the horizon and the stars trembled in the heavens, Enoch felt something stir in his spirit, a summons unlike any before, a call that would pull him beyond the reach of men and into the heart of eternity. That night the sky did not sleep. The constellations shimmered brighter than ever before, as if creation itself held its breath. Enoch stood upon a high hill, the wind swirling around him like unseen hands of light. He closed his eyes, and the world fell silent. Then it happened. A brilliance tore through the heavens, vast and living. The clouds parted in spirals of gold and fire, and a voice like rushing waters filled the air. It spoke his name, not in sound but in spirit, shaking the mountains and stilling the storms. Enoch, my friend, your walk with me has not gone unnoticed. Tears streamed down Enoch's face as his knees trembled. The presence was not wrath nor thunder, but love so pure it burned. The world has chosen darkness, said the voice, but you have chosen me. And because you have walked faithfully, I shall reveal to you the mysteries hidden since the dawn of time. In that instant, Enoch saw visions, flashes of things no human eye had beheld, the creation of stars, the birth of angels, the throne of glory beyond worlds. He saw the destiny of mankind and the coming of a Redeemer who would restore what was lost. When the vision faded, Enoch lay upon the earth, breathless and forever changed. From that night on, his face carried the light of another realm, and those who saw him knew he had spoken with God. But the journey was not yet over. For soon heaven would come for him, not in dream but in reality. The days that followed were unlike any before. Strange lights moved across the sky at dusk, and the winds carried songs that no human tongue could sing. The people of the valley whispered in fear and wonder, for they knew something divine surrounded the man who walked with God. Enoch's eyes no longer reflected the world, they reflected eternity. When he spoke, his words carried a weight beyond human strength, a peace that silenced doubt, a hope that pierced despair. One morning, as the sun rose like liquid gold over the hills, Enoch felt the call again. Soft, yet irresistible. He turned to his family, his sons and daughters, the generations that would carry his name, and smiled. "Do not weep," he said gently, "for today I go where no mortal has gone, but I will walk still, only higher." Then the wind began to stir. The sky opened in a spiral of light, brighter than 10,000 suns, yet gentle as dawn. The earth trembled, not in fear, but in reverence. And from the light descended a host, shapes of pure brilliance, clothed in the sound of heaven itself. The people fell to their knees, shielding their faces, but Enoch stood tall, his heart steady, his spirit ready. "Come," the voice said, "the walk is not yet done." And before their eyes, Enoch was lifted, his body turning to light, his shadow vanishing as the glory consumed him. He rose higher and higher until he was no longer a man of earth, but a being of heaven. The clouds closed, the music faded, and silence reigned once more. Enoch was gone, but his footsteps remained, not upon the ground, but in the hearts of all who believed. Silence lingered on the hills for days after Enoch's ascent. The people searched the valleys, calling his name, but there was no trace, and no tomb, no body, no sign of death. Only the faint echo of that radiant wind still whispering through the trees. Generations passed, and the world grew darker still. Yet the story of the man who walked with God refused to fade. Fathers told their sons, and elders told the young, that there once lived a man who chose fellowship over fame, faith over fear, God over the world. And somewhere beyond the stars, Enoch still walked, not as a memory, but as a living soul, clothed in glory, moving through realms no human eye has seen. He walked through gardens of light, beside rivers that flowed from the heart of the Eternal One, his steps echoing in harmony with the breath of heaven. Sometimes on clear nights, when the wind is still and the sky burns with stars, the faithful say they can almost hear him. A whisper soft as dawn, "Keep walking even when the path is dark, for every step with God brings you closer to eternity." And so the legacy of Enoch endures, not as a tale of power or miracles, but as the living proof that to walk with God is to never truly die.